Hey guys, Dan here, and I'm going to be showing you guys a couple ways of unwrapping things that hopefully will save you guys some time, because I know how much we all hate unwrapping, but it's not that bad if you know a few more tools. So hopefully what I'll be showing you shortly will help with that a lot. So I've got a couple objects here. I'm going to teach you a few different things you can do. If you hear some background noise, by the way, that's just my parrot. Sorry, I can't really do much about that. Alright, so let's get straight into it. First thing that I'd say when you're unwrapping is don't scroll and look for it, because that can just be a pain in the ass. What I like to do, yeah sure, it's easy to find, it's right at the bottom, but it's so much quicker if you just type in UNW for unwrap. Just start typing unwrap and then it'll just appear. So it gets to a point where you can just type in UNW and just press enter, and then you've got it there, it's ready to go. Alright, so we're going to go over like the most simple method that we've all used, which is where we select everything. I just did that by pressing Control A, and then we flatten map. I see a lot of you guys unwrapping like this, which is completely fine, but what I like to do when I'm organising my UVs and stuff is hit this button up here, and that gets rid of that checker box and it makes it much easier to see what you're doing. So all I did was go up to mapping and hit flatten map in there. So what you can do now is have a look at your object and just hit checker again, and you'll be able to see if your UVs are right. All these are square. You can tell you not got any stretching. If your UVs look like this, I'll show you now. If they look like that, or like that, in like any part, it means you're doing something wrong, and the ratio of this is off. So usually if it'll just be like that, and that's quite easy to fix, because you just grab these scale tools up here, which by default it'll be like that, but if you hold click you can actually select vertical or horizontal scaling, and then you can actually try and get them squares as good as you like. Now sometimes you'll unwrap things separately and they'll all be different sizes, but it's the same object. So you can see here the squares are all different sizes. That's not too big of an issue. What you can do is you can just click and drag over them all like this, and then over here on the right there's a button, if I can find it. Oh no, sorry, it's here. So let me just make this full screen. Here what you can do is this button right here, rescale elements. If you hit that, it seems to have messed things up, but it actually hasn't. You can see what it's actually doing is it's making these squares the same size, and then what you can do from here is go in and you can move them all away from each other and then see what you got. Now so they're all the right size. When you have a load of things like this flat mapped, cubes especially, this is really good for. What you can do is you can click an edge, and then the blue is the seam on the other face that it's connected to. So if I click here, you can see it's the left hand side of this face, but it's the right hand side of this face, so it's here. So I now know that this is this face here is this face here. So if I just click that, I got it wrong because this is upside down. So there you just flip it around, but it doesn't really matter too much. So but you can sort of get where I'm going at. This is where these meet. So instead of doing what a lot of people do and going like this, and then lining it all up and getting it right and messing around with it loads, like this, and then going into here, if you don't know this is a really cool tip as well. I wouldn't use it here, but you can select verts like this, uncheck element mode or recheck it. That just choose it. I'll show you that in a minute, but yeah, if you uncheck element mode and then do that, you can actually align the verts up here. So you can see me there, I'm aligning these. I'm sure you guys all know this, so I'm going to stop boring you. But what I like to do instead is I like to grab one of these edges, just like that, and then you can hit this button here, this blue stitch button, and it'll just snap it to it. Now this saves me tons of time, like loads. So hopefully it'll this is going to be a helpful one for you guys. and that's really good if you're unwrapping just a simple box or just a simple shape where you need certain faces to be attached to each other. Another thing I'd say, just really quick, when you're unwrapping things, sometimes unfold mapping, especially with cylinders, if you hit unfold mapping and then hit OK, it'll do it for you. Sometimes the checkers are a bit off, and this time they're not, but just make sure to check that. Just do that by clicking up here and hitting checker again. So you know, that was really simple, but hopefully that's shown you a couple of ways that you can just get this cube looking right. But how do we deal with a shape like this? Sure, we can flatten map it. Let me just isolate this and then go into unwrap. Now, a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll just do the horrible thing and they'll flatten map it, and then they'll be like, okay, using what I've just shown you there, you can go like this. Sure, that works. You can go like that, and it works. You know, it's a bit time consuming, but it gets the job done. But I'm going to show you guys something that I learnt recently, and it's an option that I avoided for a while just because I'd heard the phrase thrown around a lot. It's called normal mapping. Now, it's not the kind of normal mapping that some of you may have heard of. It's a different kind. So normal mapping in unwrapping sense is where we project down and then look at the faces to see what they have in common. So if I go into here and press F4, there we go. So you see this green line here. Let me just go like that. Just unselect that. So this is the top view of our normal map for an unwrap. This is the other view. That's just the front left. That's the other view. And then, you know, it does it from each orthographic view. So from here, what we can do is we can actually use that instead of doing it like this. If we grab all of these and then go up here and then hit normal mapping, we can hit this drop down and then do something called box mapping. And what that'll do, we won't ever see it happen, but it places a box around our model and then projects down from each axis to look at what faces are there and which ones to group together. So if I hit that, you'll see here, it's that top view we were looking at just before. So if I hop back into here, you know, that is, you know, it's identical to that. It might even be that. So there you go. That you know, that's what we see there. And these can be separated, but what it does is it helps us group them up. And yeah, sure, these aren't actually like this, but you can sort of get where I'm going at. This can be really helpful sometimes. And it's really good if you've got a slightly more complex box like the one we've got here, because what you can then do is it'll help separate it out but keep it relevant. So you know which, that's the top, that's the bottom, that's the left, that's the right, that's the front, and it actually puts this middle part in for you. And then you can go around and you can do what you're used to doing from what I just said. You can do that, and then suddenly, you know, your unwrap's starting to take shape, and then you can, you know, work around it like that. And it's just depending on your situation, like everything in unwrapping, a certain tool is going to be more effective than another. But in this one, you can see here that it is really effective. So there you go. That's all I've got for like these basic tools. Actually, I can show you one more thing. This is pretty cool. So if I do flatten mapping, and say I've unwrapped like loads of things. Now, I'm going to show you this, but be like passive with it, if you know what I mean. Don't go crazy now as I've shown you it, because it saves you a job, but it's a job that you should really learn to do yourself. And that job is this, putting it in as efficiently as you can. You shouldn't ever do it like that. And what I did there is click this button here. Now, it's okay in certain circumstances. Do not get into a habit of using it. What I'd say is, if you are going to use it as a starting point, and then go, okay, this back part is going to be in the game more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these parts up here, move these up here, move this a bit to the left so that can get in, and then I'm going to scale this up use it as a starting point to help you get organised, and then from there start scaling things up how you have been, to try and keep that efficiency and try and use as much of this UV space as you can. Lots of people don't use it as much, and it'll really let you down, especially when you eventually get an art test, because they do mention to you, we need 90% of the UV space used, and if you're in a habit of just hitting this button over here and then leaving it, that is, in some circumstances, less than 90%. That might even be 90%, because I'll let you be the judge. That looks like around 85% to me, so it's up to you. But that is really helpful. That is when in certain situations. So I'm just gonna grab another model here. So if I unhide these and grab this one now, this is an object I'm sure you're all familiar with if you've ever tried to make a sphere. Sorry, I'm sure Ant's shown you all, or Andy, or whoever has shown you never to make a sphere like this. That's because these top tries here, and it's a lot more high poly, whereas this is lovely in quad. And the issue with having this in here is it's really hard to unwrap, and this gets unwrapped for you, which is great, because then you can project a globe onto it. When I was doing the world skills thing, I had to use a cylinder because it was better for unwrapping, but that was a one-off that. So the reason I've got this here is because it doesn't get unwrapped automatically for you, and it can be a pain in the ass. So I'm going to show you how I'd unwrap it, and it's using a technique you all learned very recently called pelt mapping. So as we all know, we uncheck map seams over here to get rid of them green lines, because the difference between these, by the way, is pale is basically manual, map is auto. So green is auto, pale is manual, and because we want to unwrap this ourselves, not Max, like we saw the sphere just there, that was unwrapped automatically because it used the map seams. We want this to be manual, because if we let Max deal with this by itself, it's going to have a panic attack. Sorry about that, someone just came in. So like I was saying, yeah, if Max tries to do this by itself, it's just going to freak out. So what we need to do is tell it how to break this object up. Now, an observation that you can make if you look at this for long enough is this is actually still a cube, if you get me. It's kind of weird to explain, but if we look at it as in, let me just grab something here. I'll grab it like this. Yeah. What I can do is I can take a snapshot of this, and it'll open it up in a browser for me, and then I can grab here, and then what I can do is I can draw it out, and as you can see, it's actually still a cube, but it's just been curved loads, and it's been subdivided, so it is still a cube. You can see these edges here are a bit more clear than the other ones. So what we can do is we can grab these edges here, and we can grab this tool, this point to point, and we can just start clicking here, and we can draw this line down. We go around here like this, and then we connect them up like that. You can see each of the 6 faces of the cube there that have been subdivided and brought out. So what you can then do, this can take a bit of practice, but if you alt click the 2 in the middle on one of the sides, so each 2 in the middle like that, and then do that on one side, so like you can see I've got these 2 here gone, these 2 here, these 2 here, these 2 here, and then I've brought it down, and I've gotten rid of 2 more. What this will then do, if I pelt map it, is it'll treat it like a cube. You'll see now. So if we grab this whole object here, and then we hit pelt, what we can then do is we can hit start pelt, start relax, and then hit settings, and then hit polygon angles, relax it again, and as you can see it's unwrapped in a very similar way to a cube. And what this allows us to do is we can actually, if we have it like this, we can have this middle section here, and we can still have our globe image here. Granted, it's not going to be that great, but if you wanted more detail within this sort of shape, you would probably use a sphere anyway, but as it is, this is probably the best way of unwrapping this sort of object, as it is based off of a cube from its, I don't know, I guess core part of it. Alright, a couple more things I wanted to show you guys then. One is if you have this like this and you want this to be separate from the rest, what you can do is you actually grab that and then click this button here, this break, and what that'll do is it'll just break it away. And you can do that for anything. You can do it here and that'll break that. You can grab this and break them. I don't know if they'll still stay elements, but no, they won't. So, oh no, they do. Look, so they're still elements. These are all separate elements now. So that's really helpful. Another thing that's quite helpful is we've all been on modelling, and when we want to select, say, the top half of this, say we only wanted to unwrap the top half, we'd go like that, and that would select all them faces for us. But a few of you may have noticed when you're unwrapping, it'll only select the ones you can see, and then you have to go to around the other side, and you have to do it again, make sure it's all lined up, and then you've missed one, you have to click another. You can actually just uncheck this box here, this ignore back facing, this one right here, and what that'll do is it'll just grab them for you like normally would, and then you're back in business, you just check it again, and it's all there ready to go. So that's really helpful as well. A couple more buttons that are really helpful. I don't know whether they'll work on this, just because I haven't really designed, got an object here that'll be worth doing it on. You can hit quick peel, and what that'll do, you can see there it's tried its best, and you can hit quick peel, and what that'll do is it'll take what you've got and it'll try its best to unwrap it for you. Then you have another couple buttons there. Just play around with them. If something's not working for you, chances are one of these buttons will eventually happen. I'll show you a couple more. So this one, if we have here like this, quickly select all these. Probably a quicker way for me to do that, but I'm lazy. If we grab this plane button here, this projection, what we can do is we can hang on one sec. Okay, so back to where we were there. So we've got this projection thing here, and that is actually quite poor from me. So what I've done there, let me just grab a different object real quick, because I've actually rotated this, which is a bad shout on my end. Actually that, my apologies. So right, you grab that, you grab the faces that you want, and then you hit your align, and so you can align it to X, Y or Z axis, or you can manually rotate it like this. And if we open up the UV editor, you'll be able to see what this is doing in real time here. So it is just straight up projecting it onto here. Now that will create stretching, as you can see, but sometimes that's okay depending on what you're modelling, and sometimes you won't get stretching at all if you've unwrapped it properly. So that's sort of a case of playing around with it as well. And these projection tools are really powerful. So if I grab a cylinder, and then I go like this, and then I extrude this out. My bad. Yeah, there you go. And then I just get rid of them, and then I'll just grab a texture on here really quick. I know there's hang-ons on the bottom and top, doesn't really matter at the moment. Unwrap that, and then what we can do is we can use this tool. And what that'll do is it'll put a cylinder in it for us, and it'll try and unwrap it the best it can, which is really, really nice. So we can move this, and then what you do is you just hit that again, this button, sort of the on and off button, and then you just grab that, grab these rings here, and then you just separate them from the rest of the model. So that again is really powerful. It's sort of like, I don't know, you got to play around with it a bit for it to behave, but once you get the hang of it, it'll really help you guys out. Just play around with these projection ones. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Depends on the model. But other than that, last words of advice, I guess. Remember that WER switch between rotation, movement and scaling. Remember that you can click up here and choose which direction it scales in. Remember that if you've got something and the text's the wrong way around, say I have like a cube or something, and my text is like flipped, that's easy. You just hit that button up here and you can flip it all the different ways just by clicking and holding here. You can also move by axis, so if you only want something to move left, you can do it up there. If you only want something to move vertically, you can move it like that, and that it sort of locks it, so no matter where my mouse goes, it'll still just lock to that axis point. One last one that I've just thought of then, if you have a cylinder like this, and then if we just ignore back facing, and then we pelt map that might work. No, as you can see, I haven't got the seam on there. Just quickly put a seam on. Grab that again. Grab that again, and then pelt map that. Hopefully that'll work this time. There you go. Right, if you commit that, if you ever get like a really deformed one like this, and you can tell it's deformed because you can see all this, what you can actually do is you can hit this button here. Where is it? Oh, it's in this menu. I always get mixed up. And what that'll do is it'll straighten it out for you, and you can keep clicking that, and it'll try its best to relax it. And what that'll do then is you can see it. You can actually see it working there. If I just undo it all, you can see it going from, pretty dodgy. That's good. And you can just keep clicking it until you get what you want. And things like that really do save you time, whereas you could be messing around with verts for ages, whereas just clicking a button once will just save you so much time. So that's been quite a long-winded video. Congratulations if you sat through it all. If you guys have any issues at all, I'm usually in college somewhere. You've all seen me at some point. Remember to just grab me if you need help. And yeah, if you can't find me in college, or for whatever reason I haven't been in, or you've missed me or something like that, or you've been busy, just shoot me an email or comment on the video. I'll get back to you. Follow me on Twitter, and then I'll be able to get in contact with you that way. It's really easy to find me. If you're on my YouTube channel now, then there's all sorts of ways of getting into contact with me. If any issues at all, just let me know and I'll be happy to help. Hopefully this will speed up unwrapping for you, because I know it's a pain in the arse, but we all have to do it, and hopefully soon you guys will be speeding up really quick and using them tools I just gave you. So thanks for watching, hope I helped, and yeah, see you later.